It was just reported that the pilot, Andreas Lubitz, should not have been at work that day because he had a condition that pretty much, for lack of a better term, would have killed him in time and eventually ended up killing others. And I'm not just saying that lightly, believe me. The story is, well, we're not saying that it's depression, though he definitely did come to the hospital and he was treated for something. And according to Newser, they're saying that, trying to find what it said, but the hospital was denying that he had depression. However, he did have something, and in 2009, he did suffer a depressive episode, and his friends even said, well, he'd been really quiet anyway, but now he'd been more quiet than ever, and that's part of why I myself talk about my depression, because I don't want to end up, I'm not trying to be offensive to the Lubitz family. I do feel sorry for the Lubitz family myself, and a lot of other people have said that, including one of the parents of one of the victims. His words were, I feel sorry for that family and what they're going through right now. And the thing is, that's part of why I talk about my depression and part of other stuff I'm going through, because I want to help people who are going through that. And like I said, no offense to the Lubitz family, I don't want to end up doing something like Andreas Lubitz did. And I suppose at a much smaller scale level, that's kind of what my great-granddad did. Except what happened was, he had driven across the bridge. He had, let's see, the other news article says, torn up. It might be the same article, but anyway, I'm going to check that. So anyway, my great-granddad had decided to stop in the middle of a bridge with his car, jump out of the car and off the bridge, and then he kind of caused a row too. As far as I know, no one except for him was killed at the scene, because by the time he changed his mind, he was already dead. However, he was one of those cases who didn't talk about what he was going through, and you know, that's just the thing. If you're feeling something, even if people hate you, and even if they're going to ditch you and say, oh, not this again, you know what, talk about it, because in the end, unless they're really sick and callous people, talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, then they're going to feel like, man, why didn't she say anything, man, or why'd he not tell people, now he's hurt all these people, and so, I mean, just talk about it. Don't end up doing what this Andreas Lubitz guy did, and if for no other reason, don't hurt yourself. And, I mean, as I said, there are times where I felt that way, and I've talked about it, and trust me, if I didn't talk about it, then you'd have to worry. And like I said, this Lubitz case shows that, where if people are feeling suicidal and they talk about it, then they'll be less likely to do something that could be quite literally fatal to both themselves and others. So anyway, there's that, and let me see if this is... Okay, it's the same article, I guess. There was an article, maybe it was on Fox News or somewhere, that said that the hospital would not confirm if the hospital would not confirm that he'd been diagnosed with depression, but they did say that he came to the hospital. And, well, there's that, and, I mean, what else can I say? On an incidental note, by the way, tonight's Shabbat Haggadol, so Shabbat Haggadol Tov, and next week is Passover. For those who follow the rabbinical calendar, it begins on the night of Good Friday, and for those who follow the biblical calendar, it begins on, well, it begins on the second day of the rabbinical Passover. So, as I said, Shabbat Haggadol Shalom. Well, actually I said Shabbat Haggadol Tov, but I think you get the point.